games and stuff like that that are happening. I only listed so many down in the hashtags, but there's a lot of different stuff that's coming out. I mean, a lot of people are excited and stoked for this new Marvel Insomniac's Wolverine. It looks pretty good. The only thing that's kind of kept me back is I like the open world aspect, or at least the free roam aspect of Spider-Man when they did those games, and how you could kind of just wander New York and everything like that and take things at your own leisure. This one sounds like it's going to be more of like okay, you go to a location, you can explore and have a little bit of freedom in that bit, but it's going to be a little bit more focused. They're kind of trying to give you a little more of a linear feel to kind of guide the story, make it kind of a very guided adventure and everything like that, which could be very enjoyable in certain aspects because if it does have that strong, heavy kind of feel of like you're in constant action and then you're going into these cinematic moments and stuff like that, it could be very exciting. I'm not saying it isn't, because I mean we saw that with good example, Hellblade 2 with Senua. We saw that it was a very guided experience. There was only so much that you could move around and really explore in certain situations and stuff. For the most part, it was very continue on, and then combat was very nuanced, one-on-one fights and everything like that. Um, which actually another thing I would like to talk about real fast is actually this teased trailer for uh, the standalone name title Senua, which was supposed to be the third game from Ninja Theory in Senua's story, which we're not sure what's going to happen because Ninja Theory is being shut down. They released the trailer to try and build hype and get someone to pick uh, Ninja Theory up basically and kind of keep them afloat, and it just didn't happen. So now there's a lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen to Ninja Theory because they make beautiful games. Both Hellblade and Hellblade 2 were amazingly beautiful games. Now, yes, you can argue they were short and they were not huge, AAA style titles and stuff like that. But the company could have made them into such. And I feel that this third one that they teased and showed as a trailer was pushing more towards that style of exploration and feel. We saw stealth aspects where she was sneaking up on people and she was slashing them across the back. We saw where she was fighting again more than one person again like it was in the first game. The second game they made it where it was more of kind of like a real visceral feel with one-on-one combat, but this one kind of went back to that feel where you see her, she's fighting one, and then she throws a weapon at another and everything like that. And so the combat felt very revamped, and it looks like they're trying to build up more to like a full explorative kind of title where you could actually go around and explore and do things and whatnot. And there's stealth and everything like that. So it feels more like a bigger title game. I hope it gets picked up. I hope somebody does go, you know what? Yeah, we'll put our money, with them and everything like that and help them out and get them going because I really think that they can really become one of the biggest and baddest development companies for games out there. Um, Now, the other ones that are the huge things that everybody's been talking about, Fable, this next coming Fable and everything like that. That's everybody's like, oh, it's the reboot of Fable. Is it? It does have some really really cool aspects, and I have watched different little gameplay things that they have shown and stuff just to kind of keep tabs on it and see if it is something that I would have an interest in. And there are some things that I'm like, you know what, this does seem pretty cool. I like the aspect that you can go and you can buy different stores and shops. You can basically purchase any place in the game, and you get to basically monopolize that, and you get to control, you know, rent on places where people stay and live and everything like that. And if they can't pay it, then you can throw them out on the streets or you can lower their costs, things like that. You have the kind of control. And then I saw the romance options and everything like that and how those play out. And it seems like they can almost become kind of like little, not quite quests. It's more requirements. Like there was one that I saw in the showcase gameplay that they did where Women wanted him to be fancy dressed. They wanted him to be a homeowner. They wanted him to have a business that they owned and everything like that. And so he went and did these things. He bought some fancy clothes. He bought his own residence. He bought, I think, a tavern, if I remember right. And then I saw in the gameplay that the person that was playing it, I believe it was one of the developers, if I remember right, was he went to one of the people that were already homeless in the game, and he gave them a job at his tavern he just bought. So it does have a lot of cool things because it's like, okay, you can actually, do a lot of cool things, and you can actually be a half decently cool person in the game by going and being like, you know what, I'm gonna give these homeless people jobs at my place and everything like that. But then we also saw the adverse effect of that. We saw him go and actually fire his bartender, and stuff like that. So it does have some cool things. One other complaint that I have is I like a little more challenge with my combat, and it looks like the combat in that game is just too simple. It does. Yeah, I mean, literally the whole time I didn't see him take a single hit. He just slaughtered everybody, lifted them in the air with magic, and was just whacking away, shooting people with. It's just. I want a little more challenge to the combat. It feels too weak of a combat system. Like you can just take out groups way too easily. Like it doesn't feel like there's a challenge. Um, so I mean, it's got its ups and downs. I guess that's really what I'm saying. Is it's kind of all over the place for me. I'm like, man, some things sound really, really cool, and I think it is really, really badass, and I wouldn't mind jumping into those kind of things and kind of getting on with some of that stuff and going around and just kind of monopolizing and becoming this hero and doing whatever. That sounds really, really cool. Now, another one, Mortal Shell 2. I keep seeing stuff for this, and it looks like they took the first and just were like, you know what, we need to just revamp this. And I've been seeing more and more about it, and it looks good. But here's my problem with it. It's too short. These games are way too short. Um, I love the whole aspect of it. I love what it's about. I love that it's this, you are this entity that goes into these different heroes' corpses essentially and brings them back and uses them as a shell to fight and do different things. But give me something that is an open world. I'd love to be able to go and explore, and I'd love to have a feeling to where there's like, you've got like cities and places that you can go as these shells. I would love there to be people that you can interact with that are just normal, regular, things and everything like that. NPC shops, things like that. I would love that feel. When I play like a fantasy feeling, like even especially like a dark fantasy game like that, I want it to be a heavier like RPG trope to it because I love those interactions. I love being able to go to the NPCs and speak to them and do different things and whatnot and engage with them. And what would be cool is if there were some NPCs that could sense or see the entity inside these shells. I feel like that would add like a certain level because you could have some that are perfectly okay with it, some that are wary, and some that are afraid of it and would possibly call upon guards and other things and cause problems for you. I could see this being really, really cool, and there being a lot of ways they could really spin and weave how character interaction with you in the game could really change things. Because if they make it open, you're not going to experience everybody. So, you're going to come across your own things, and it's going to kind of build your own experience based off of who you go and meet. So, That's kind of my overall feel. I feel like the gameplay is definitely ramped up. Definitely looks a lot smoother, and the fighting looks a lot more brutal. And I love that. I've been seeing some of the finishing moves, and I'm like, dude, like it is so vicious. It is like amazing how night and day different it is from Mortal Shell to Mortal Shell 2, and just how the combat is. So very exciting, very cool. Um, but like I said, for me, just really, really short. Anything that's like 20 to 30 hours. Now, I don't take into effect when they say that too strongly. Because for me, whenever they say, oh, this is like a, you know, 50-hour, main storyline, da 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 da. If it's a game where I can explore, that turns into way longer. Way longer. Because they even said that, like, good example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey, they gave a time frame for the main storyline. If you are going around and exploring, that's a 100+ hour, time frame for completion, and that's putting it down pretty low. I mean, you can spend days upon days upon days. I mean, with Odyssey, I was on that game forever. Valhalla, same thing. If you're going around and you're doing whatever, especially if you have all the extra content, that game can last forever. Speaking of which, I'm actually replaying it. I love that game. It has such a good feel. A lot of people really love Odyssey over Valhalla, and I feel that Valhalla has the better feel to it. I feel like I've got this, like, when you're wearing your cloak and you're walking around, or you're up on a building and stuff like that. I get that feel that I got from the original Assassin's Creed games. Like, I feel like, you know, I can take anybody down in the game. Like, I get that feeling. In Odyssey, I didn't get that. It, I don't know. I just didn't feel the same in Odyssey. I loved Odyssey, and it has a great story, and I love the characters, but it just doesn't feel the same. And I feel like Valhalla, even though it has funny moments, it has a darker feel. The setting's darker. There's a lot more of like a cloudy, overcast moments in the game and stuff like that. There's only certain times where it's very bright and sunny, and so they give you this kind of like dark feel. And I feel like there's supposed to be like this foreboding kind of dread, because even though things are going good for Ravensthorpe and everything like that, there's a lot of bad that's coming to. There's a lot of evil things going on. But anyways, this is supposed to be about upcoming games. So next one, of course, is GTA 6. And this is huge because everybody's talking about it, whether they're talking about it in good light or they're talking about it in a bad light. Honestly, so here's the thing, guys. A lot of people are saying that they're really, really hating the fact that GTA 6 will not release a physical copy. Honestly, I feel that Rockstar's just being smart about this. Because here's the thing, a lot of these developers know what's going on with the consoles and stuff that they will release on. Sony has recently stated that in January of 2028, they will no longer be releasing physical discs for their console. It will not be a thing. They will go full digital. Now, here's where I'm going with this. Rockstar would most likely know that this move was going to happen. And knowing the future of their game and everything like that, they probably made the decision that we will just do digital, because that's what Sony's going to end up doing. And Sony, being one of the biggest, consoles that's going to be releasing their game, probably was like, yeah, that's a good move. Let's just do this, because then we're not having to deal with this whole disc thing. Because what happens later to the people that go and buy a future console and everything like that and whatnot, And then they also pick up GTA 6 and they're like, oh man, let's get me a physical copy and everything like that. Now, mind you, these are not the smartest of people that I'm putting in this situation in my talk right now. Okay. They go and they get a GTA 6. Let's say there was a physical copy. Yes? They get a new console. Years, back in 2028, after that January date. And then find they can't even play it. Because Sony's gone full digital. That's the problem. That's the dilemma that could happen. Now, here's the other side of this, guys. And I'm going to just state this because a lot of people don't see it this way, and this is the reality of it. What's the one thing now when you get your discs that you have to do when you put the disc in? It starts downloading, right? It's no different than getting the digital version of the game, guys. Your disc, you can glorify it and say it's so great compared to having just a digital version of the game, but I'm literally telling you that you are inhibited compared to someone that just has a regular digital download, because you literally need that disc to play your digital download. That's the reality of it. Your disc is literally just a digital key, and your digital right, basically it's that disc is letting your console know that you have the right to play the paid for content. That's what your disc does. That's all the disc is. And so, and you know what's crazy is people say, oh, well, there were these games that, released that had two discs. One's your data disc and your other's your play disc. Okay, I will give you that. But what do you think your data disc is? Your digital download of all of that content coming off of that disc. That goes onto your console, and then you still need that other disc as your digital key to play your game. Discs are not like they were back on previous consoles where you put it in and it would just run your game. They're not the same anymore. You still have to download the game to your console. So discs are dead. They've been dead for years, guys. So, honestly, in my opinion, stop worrying about it. Everybody's so scared that because they're getting these digital things and everything like that, that they're just going to lose the rights to their games and they're not going to have their games to play. Well, I tell you this right here, right now. If Sony, Microsoft, or anybody else ever did that, do you know the hell they would go through and how much money they would start losing from people because nobody would trust buying their games anymore? So no, guys, they're not going to just start stripping you of your games that you've paid for. They can't. If they do, they know that they will start hemorrhaging. They're going to bleed out fucking money because people will just be like, you know what, fuck you, and they'll go elsewhere. So stop worrying about it, guys. Really. I mean, that's really the main story. So that's really the ones that I want to talk about. So let me know what you guys are really, really stoked for and excited for. All right. Love y'all. Check the stripper out.